Hello. Let's create a new virtual machine, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of a settings change here. In a previous video when I showed you how to install Hyper-V, I went to the Hyper-V settings here and the virtual machines, and I selected actually these virtual machines. But when you first create a new machine, it will automatically create this folder, the virtual machines folder. So if I select this one, it will create a second virtual machines folder in here. So I just select the Hyper-V here. That's it. And yeah, so let's start to create a new machine, and you can do that in three different ways. You can either right click on the computer here, new virtual machine, or you can click here to the right, new virtual machine, or you can click action, new virtual machine. So it's kind of up to you. And you get this wizard. Click next and you can name it, for example, 16.10. And of course it's going to select the default selection, but you can change that to whatever you want. But I'll just use the default one here. And I'm going to keep it at generation 1 here because I didn't get any virtual machines to work with generation 2. So I keep it at default. And amount of memory, I have 16 GB of RAM in my computer, so let's just give half of that to the virtual machine, and I keep it on dynamic memory as well. And I'm going to select the network as well, and the hard drive, and you can of course change the location by clicking browse if you want to. And also I'm going to reduce the amount of space for the hard drive, the virtual hard drive, to 80 gigs. And it's not going to consume or add the total amount of space yet. It's going to dynamically sort of add the space to your hard drive. So yeah, you see it later. And of course you can right away select an either if you have a CD or DVD, you can select that, or an ISO, but I'm actually going to select install operating system later because I'm going to do a settings in the for the virtual machine. Okay, so you got your first virtual machine here, and it's powered off, of course. So I'm going to right click on it and click settings. And you can do a lot of stuff here. You can add hard drives, remove hard drives, and whatever, bunch of stuff. But what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to processors, and I'm going to give it 2 virtual processors, and I would usually give them half the amount of the real processor cores. So my CPU is an i5 6600K, and it has 4 cores, no hyperthreading or anything. So I'll just give them 2 because the Windows 10 here, the host machine, needs some cores as well to work with. But if you have like an i7 or whatever that has multiple cores, like 8 cores or whatever, you can give it like 4 cores here of virtual processors. And the next thing, since I haven't really installed anything on this virtual machine yet, I'm actually going to click on DVD drive here, and I'm going to mount an installation DVD, and it's an image file. And you click browse here, and you go to where you actually save the ISO files, and Ubuntu 16.10 desktop. Open. And this is sort of the only time you actually need to have the ISO file in here. It's when you install it. Just apply and OK. And what I do now is that I just double click on this one, and you get this window here. and you press the actually start button here. And it will now automatically sort of start the virtual machine here. And there we go. It took a while for it to start for some reason, maybe because I'm recording. And move the window a little bit here. And you get this. You can try Ubuntu or install it, but I select install here. And I just select, I will change these updates later on when it's really installed. So the only thing I select here is like third-party software. And you just select erase disk and install Ubuntu. It's a complete new installation, so just confirm it, continue. And I live in Sweden and it should be in Stockholm, so just continue. And I live in Sweden, so I have a Swedish keyboard. Otherwise you can use this as default, but Swedish there. And give it a name. Just for now, for this video, just tutorial. Give it a different name. Test. What? Really? Test VM. Username, password. And continue. And it will install everything. This might take a little while, but that's basically how you sort of create a virtual machine and how to sort of install it. And one thing that I kind of noticed when, especially with Ubuntu, is that you can't really change the resolution of the monitor. It's going to be like 4:3 by default. I have to try Windows machine as well to see if I can change the resolution to run them in full screen and stuff, but otherwise, yeah. And if you're going to have multiple virtual machines running at the same time, I really suggest you install the virtual machines on an SSD, because hard drives are, or mechanical hard drives are really slow. So yeah. But just for testing, running a single virtual machines like this, yeah, it's kind of enough to have it on a mechanical hard drive. I have my storage device or hard drive here is actually 2 SSDs in a RAID 0. And the SSDs are quite old. They are Intel SSDs, and it's the regular SATA 3. So the read speed from each one of them is like 250 megabytes maximum, and like 100 megabyte to write. So that's why I created them in a RAID to get a little bit more speed and also more storage, because they are 160 gigabyte each. So I got now 320 gig. So RAID array on the hard drives. So yeah, it's kind of nice to run virtual machines, and right now I'm actually recording, so it might be a little bit slower to do this, but when I did this without recording, it was really fast. So yeah. So virtual machines are really good for testing stuff if you actually want to install them on a computer later. I used to run Ubuntu on the main computer, sort of have it installed on a real hard drive, but I had some issues with it, so I went back to Windows 10. But I still want to sort of learn a little bit more about Linux, and this is kind of a great way to sort of test them out without having to install it on your PC or have a dual boot or whatever. Yeah, so let's see how long this will take. I think it's a pretty fast installation, especially if you have it on SSDs and stuff. Installing system. Yeah, it takes a little while to install, but it's a lot quicker to install Ubuntu than Windows, actually. Now you can see how you actually install Ubuntu as well. It's pretty easy installation, pretty straightforward, especially if you just have it on a single drive. When it comes to RAID, it's kind of complicated. So you can see the installation is now done. So just click on restart. And it says I'm going to remove the sort of hard drive here, and I think it will automatically actually sort of unmount sort of the hard drive. Yes, it did. It automatically sort of send it out. So what you do here is that I can't really press enter here. It won't do anything. So I actually have to just reset it, and it automatically reboot, and it will now actually boot from the virtual hard drive. And there you go. Just type the password, and you are in Ubuntu. There you go. Easy as that. And of course you need to do some updates and stuff like that. But otherwise you have now a virtual machine. So of course it's a little bit slow when I actually record this. And we check for updates and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. Kind of easy to do. Find me later. I'm just, and when you go to shut off or turn off the computer, you just do it just the way as you do a regular computer. Just shut down like this, and it's turned off. And of course you don't really need to have, if you have like a server, you don't really need to have this window, so you can actually right click on it and press start, and it will run in the background. So yeah, you don't really need to have the window. If you want to actually see what's happening on the virtual machines, you can actually right click on it and connect. So there you go. But otherwise you kind of see, a small window here, what's happening. And you can also just double click on it. But I'm just going to show you shutdown here. So yeah, that's kind of how you create new virtual machines. And of course you can have windows here as well, different servers or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of a 15-minute video about that. So kind of nice that I kept it within 15 minutes, so to speak. So yeah, see you later.